Hello, my lovely viewers. This is part 3 of our practical series. We are preparing for the 2026 WAEC practical questions. So we are provided with instruction materials, and that is what we are using to teach you so that you get prepared going to that exam. Now, in part 1, we looked at the use of sodium hydroxide to check for cations. All the cations there will give you what you observe in drops and in what excess of the reagent. Then we went to aqueous ammonia again, also for metallic ions. In this video, we are going to look at tests for anions. Tests for anions. Okay, anions are what? Negatively charged ions. Now, what are the anions commonly tested in chemistry practicals? We test for carbonate ions. We test for sulfate ions. Then we test for chloride ions. These are the common anions we test for in chemistry practicals. Now we are given certain reagents. We are given reagents like the reagents we are provided with include dilute HCl. We are given silver nitrate. We are given barium chloride. We are given barium chloride. These are the reagents provided. Even dilute nitric acid we are provided. So we are going to use this reagent. Based on this reagent provided, we will tell you what to expect, what to observe when you're doing that practical. Now, let's do for test for carbonate ion. Test for CO3 2-. This is carbonate ion. How do we test for carbonate ion? Now, this is how you do it. This is your test. This is how your table will appear like. Observation and your inference. Test, observation, and your inference. Now, your test, you're going to, already you prepared, this gets to a stage, okay? You've gotten to this stage, maybe you've passed like 2 or 3 stages. You've prepared already your sample in the test tube. So you'll tell you add dilute, probably it's something called like 5 mils, okay, of dilute HCl. Add dilute HCl to what? Sample. That's sample from what? Sample from what? D, or B or C, like that. BII. But we'll simulate the question, don't worry. We'll simulate the question. I'm just showing you. So dilute HCl plus sample. What do you observe? Okay, observe upon effervescence. Okay, if observe effervescence. Effervescence means what? Evolution of gas. So if you add it and you start seeing bubbles coming up, that's effervescence. Is that clear? Carbon 4 oxide. Carbon 4 oxide gas. Is that clear? Is present. Carbon 4 oxide gas is present. Then they also provide us with another solution. We call it lime water. So add plus lime water. Okay. So the gas was passed into lime water now. Plus lime water. Okay. It turns lime water milky. So if the color of the lime water turns milky, which is a clear liquid, lime water is a clear liquid, okay? Now, if the gas turns the lime water milky, like the color changes to milk color, that confirms CO2 confirmed, okay? Carbon 4 oxide gas what? Confirmed. You've confirmed that gas. Are you following? So that is for carbon 4, we call carbonate ion. That's for carbonate ion. Let's look at sulfate ion. Test for sulfate ion. Test for sulfate ion. What do we do in this test? Test for sulfate ion. So we'll still do the same thing. Test, observation, and what? Inference. Remember the reagent we use for this? We use an acid for the sample, then observe the gas involved. Observe if there's bubbles coming up. Is that clear? If there's bubbles coming up, that confirms that a gas is present. Effervescence occurs. What gas we suspect? Carbon 4 oxide. Then you now do a confirmatory test by using lime water. If the gas turns the lime water milky, that confirms the presence of what? Carbon 4 oxide. Simple test. Now, for sulfate, I will use the reagent barium chloride. So we say barium chloride plus what? Dilute acid. Or is it dilute acid? It can be HCl, it can be HNO3. Now, some person might ask, sir, why adding dilute acid? We are acidifying the solution so that the reagent reacts with the test ion. Are you following? The test what? Ion. What we are looking for? We are looking for what? Sulfate ion. So we add this acid. If you add an acid to a solution, if carbonate ion was present, are you following? Carbon 4, it will convert to carbon 4 oxide. Now, if OH minus, which is another negative radical, was present in the solution, that acid will convert to what? To neutralize what? Water. That is why we are adding an acid to it. We are acidifying the solution. Please pay attention. We are acidifying what? The solution. Again, I said, the reason why I'm adding an acid to this mixture is to what? Acidify the solution. Assuming that we have other negative radicals like CO3 minus and OH minus in solution. If I add an acid to it, the acid will convert this radical to what? Carbon 4 oxide. It goes off. Then the acid will convert to neutralize this OH minus to what? Water, normal water. Exactly. That's why we are acidifying it. Now, the barium will now react with what? Our main ion of interest, which is sulfate. So if that happens, now what are we getting? We are going to get what? Baso4. I know that this Baso4 is what? Insoluble, right? It is what? Insoluble. So you are going to see a white PPT form. White precipitate. Observe. That's what you're observing. A white what? Precipitate. Sulfate ion present. Sulfate what? Ion what? Present. Is that clear? Good. So, for chloride ion, which reagent do we use for chloride ion? So, test for chloride ion. So let me just write Cl minus. To do your test, your observation, and your inference. Your test, your observation, your inference. Remember what we use for sulfate is barium chloride. So here we're going to use what? Baso4. We are using what? Barium tetraoxosulfate 6 for what? Chloride test. So what do? You're still going to do AgNO3 plus what? Dilute HNO3 or any of the acid. Are you following? Plus dilute what? HNO3. So, like I said before, I've explained why we are doing this. We are acidifying what? The solution. So don't get confused. So now, what will be your observation? You are going to get a white precipitate. A white what? Precipitate. Your white precipitate, you now have what? Cl minus present. Now, how do you now confirm? How do you now confirm? We now use plus what? They will now add ammonia to it. Plus what? Ammonia, aqueous ammonia. Add aqueous ammonia to that solution. You will see that the white precipitate, white PPT dissolves in what? On addition of what? Ammonia. Cl minus confirmed. Cl minus what? Confirmed. Is that clear? Very, very. So this is a test for what? Anions. These three tests are very important. So note them. The next thing we are going to look at for what? Test for gases. Are you following? Test for gases. That's what we are going to do. Then we are probably going to do flame test. Okay? We are going to do what? Flame.